lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and back with me again, Morgan Herron, the cartoonist that has created Frankie Boy Monster. We're going to be doing a creator commentary. Super stoked to have him back on the channel.
Thanks for having me back, Ryan.
Hell
Always
yeah, dude.
appreciate what you do.
I said it when we did the interview, man. I said we're gonna get this under the camera and do creator commentary. I love doing these with creators, especially the indie guys. You guys are always so generous with your time, so I'm very stoked to get into this with you. Kind of hear a little bit of the backstory on it, like your process on it, all that good stuff. And not to mention, it's published by my good buddy Eli Schwab's Cosmic Lion Productions.
Very proud of it. Love the Cosmic Lion logo designed by Sam J. Royale in the back of the book.
Yes, it's pretty dope. All right, so take us to the creation of this comic, a little bit backstory as we flip through this.
I am currently flipping through the original art portfolio. Yeah, so it was the summer of 2023 when I kind of came up with this story. So I was burnt out from the last thing I was making because I kind of alluded in my interview that I was making a bunch of pages and a bunch of stories, but none of them, by the time I got finished with them, or sometimes I didn't finish them, it kind of fell apart. And I experienced a lot of burnout. I was just doing a lot of sketching in my sketchbook. And my mom was like, hey, like, you need to take a break. So after I got off my day job, which I was working at Dunkin' Donuts at the time, we decided just to have a monster movie marathon of sorts. And we watched like the original Frankenstein,
Nice,
the original Bride of Frankenstein, and Bela Lugosi's Dracula. And I was like in that moment, like watching all the frames, like I could see so much like Mike Mignola in them, and I was like, okay, so this is where he's getting this stuff from. And it clicked because like I was emulating like his drawing style for years and his compositional work, but applying it to different things. And then like watching these films, it clicked like, oh, so like these are the frames that he's taking and he's abstracting and he's adapting into Hellboy, but putting his own flavor into it. And it inspired me to kind of create this, to revive this old character I made my sophomore year of high school and turn him into a kid. So
nice.
So that first page was an establishing shot of the castle. I wanted to bring in the viewer slowly, so without much dialogue, till we actually get to Dr. Fritz Lang working on the experiment, who's Frankie's mad scientist father. And now we're in the laboratory. Frankie's just gotten up out of bed. He was just going for a drink of water, and he lost his hand while trying to get a glass, as 12-year-old monster boys do,
How did you choose your color palette too? Because it's a somewhat of a limited color palette, which I kind of dig because it makes like I was actually just talking about this. I was reading an old issue of New Mutants with Manny, and we were talking about it and how I miss that in comics. Like you don't need to I don't want to say the word maybe the phrase overcoloring is not correct.
Airbrush.
But it's like sometimes there's just too much going on, where it
bells
takes
and whistles
away from the line work. Yeah.
Airbrushes, over rendering. So I use the pure palette in Photoshop. It's preset in there, and I'll adjust some levels, and then I'll even create a few, like the flesh tone that I used for Dr. Fritz Lang consistently throughout this first issue. I had to, of course, make myself in a few other tones, but overall, like most of the colors I'm using here is the pure color palette preset in Photoshop, and it's very very vibrant, very poppy. But then some colors are darker than others. But yeah, I didn't want to use like boring like browns and stuff like that. But even then, like if you're using brown, like it leans warm. So I don't know why some browns in comics look kind of ugly or dingy, but like I'm coloring issue 2 right now, and the main feature is a werewolf story, and like there's brown in like his fur, but like I'm taking oranges and I'm bumping down the levels so it leans more brown, so it's warmer. And even if you mix a little bit of purple in there, yeah, it gets dark, but it's not dingy. So I don't know what's going on.
I really love Dr. Fritz when he's like he lost his hand and he's like, yeah, it'll turn up in the morning, go to bed. And then we see all these like tubes of like the other experiments, and he's just like, what are those? That's just the latest. Just go to bed, and he's just like kind of like dismissing him.
It's the classic trope of, oh yeah, he's a genius, but he's a horrible father.
Yeah. The
he's
hands just moving
he's
on
a
its
single
own.
dad, so like he doesn't have mom in the picture.
Yeah.
So that's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind as the series progresses. Yeah, in his latest experiment, he's making more. Not they're not exactly like Frankie, but he's making more monsters. But Frankie's hand turns up, and he's crawling his way towards the tubes and the switch that activates the one of the experiments at least.
I just love the use of colors, and I love the choices that you make in the shots. Yeah,
I tried to save red till this big moment because of because I figured like I want to use red in this 10 pager as like a sense of like urgency and in action.
Mhm.
Mike Mignola would talk about like in an interview he did where like color should be like music in a set like in a soundtrack to a movie, where in the movie like the compositions, the lighting, the staging is creates the atmosphere and the mood, but the but music adds the to the tone of the film. So in comics, color adds to the tone of what you're telling.
Yeah, this is just a super fun comic. And I love the fact that you made it all ages too,
Yeah.
which is I think a very smart choice because you can give this to
Yeah.
anybody and they're gonna
I
enjoy it.
was I was a little scared for this first short story that like I told Eli, I was like, do you think we need to change this to it being Teen Plus because of the zombies? Because like they're really the like everything I'm making going forward like won't be nearly as frightening as these zombies. Like I feel like more and more like the monsters, not that the monsters won't be like scary, but like they won't be as I don't know, like there's still going to be a creepy factor, but like I feel like
Yeah,
these are like the scariest monsters I've drawn, and I've kind of like there's still going to be high stakes, but they're not nearly as creepy. So I was a little worried there.
I think you're good. I like the
Yeah.
worm in the eye too.
Yeah, could kind of let you know that like yeah, I don't know, like I just have a tendency not to noodle, but I like leading your eye. So like that worm like poking out of his eye kind of leads you through the rest of the composition along with those pipes in the corner there. Like
Yeah.
I like directional devices, and that's kind of how I think when I draw like where am I leading your eye? Same with like the word balloon, because if you look at the page where Dr. Fritz Lang is going, phew,
Right here.
I was
Yeah.
I was wondering why the you know the what is it the curious how the other pods didn't activate. Yeah, I like leading your eye across the page, which is why I'll sometimes leave negative space, or like some panels will be higher up than others. Like I'm trying to use every single element, both the drawing and the actual panel layouts, to lead your eye across the page. Yeah, my favorite part of this short story is the punchline, which is the next page where zombies. Frankie is literally ticked off and goes, "You couldn't just let me stay an only child. Like you
I
had me at
know.
more dad." Yeah,
I know. I
that was my
love
favorite
that.
part. I was chuckling. I was chuckling big time. And then end with him fighting the rest of the zombies.
So interesting choice that you made it like more than one single story in here. Why the decision to do that instead of just doing one?
So the last thing I made was a lot longer in terms of like stories, but like I said, I suffered a lot of burnout, so I just
Mhm.
decided to do like bite-sized short stories to kind of reinforce my storytelling and to grow. Because I felt like I was putting like too high standards on myself, and my production just wasn't consistent. So, and also, short stories are great because you can give people an idea of what the characters are like before you get into bigger stuff.
Mhm.
You like, I think small moments evoke character,
Yeah.
and it gives you a sense of like who these people are, how they interact with each other, and it makes you care about them before you get into big plot lines and stuff like that, which is what every issue of Frankie Boy Monster will be doing. In issue 2, there's going to be a main feature that's 26 pages, but it's followed up by a short story. So either way, you're getting a sense of their characters as I build up to the main storyline, which I should be getting into at some point.
Like this would meet a new character, Drake.
Drake. Yeah. It'll be more touched on in issue 2, but he's Frankie's stepbrother. Basically,
Okay.
he joined up with them. That'll be more clear as the series progresses. But yeah, they're really tight, and he's like the older brother Frankie wish he never had.
He tries to fucking get him to go in the water to get his guitar pick in the swamp. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's very much like he's a vampire who's perpetually stuck in his 20s, and like that's something that I'll be talking about more as the issues progress, where Drake doesn't remember how he got involved with Dr. Fritzling and Frankie. Like he remembers like he'll crash land he crashed landed into the castle, but he doesn't remember like where he came from before that. The only thing he remembers how to play is guitar, which will be stated in issue 2.
Cool. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really give much backstory. So is that also going to be kind of played out into, or is that going to be told over a
Mhm.
few issues?
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a story that'll come up soon. So he was originally going to be in a different story. Like he had his own, like he was a character I came up with not long after the original version of Frankie, who, like I said, was an adult at the
Mhm.
time. So like all of these characters were like cooking in different universes, and then I kind of brought them together for the world of Frankie Boy Monster. Because
Mm.
like I'd actually made the first short story first, and then the last one, which is the Grim Reaper story, second, because I needed the last 10 pager to formulate a little bit, and then it came together, and I remembered Drake, and so I just threw him in there, and yeah, I figured he'd be a great character to play off with Frankie in a underwater story, which
Cool.
I'm also very proud of this one. In fact, every time I talk to a lot of people, everyone's a lot of like people do like the first short story a lot, but a lot of people love the underwater story.
Yeah, I really dig this one too.
I'm really proud of that page where
Which one?
that page.
This one?
Sorry. So when he faces the swamp monster chews off the tube to
Yeah.
his helmet, because like it's like an old school like diver helmet where it's like the only air he's getting is from that tube up top.
Mhm.
So he chews that off. So that adds to the stakes of this moment because
Yeah.
I didn't want him to obviously I didn't want to, make him a Mary Sue where he's going to get out of every situation. Like I always want to get like this close to danger or, possibly dying or whatever. So
Mhm.
so on the next page, the panels underneath the top tier are literally sinking. So as he feels like he's drowning, even the panels are drowning, and that last panel's even tilted. So it kind of adds to the stress of like, oh, like Frankie might not get out of this till you get to the next page and jump to the top.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even like pick up on that. It's interesting. Like now looking at it, yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, that was deliberate. I'm very proud of that page's design. In fact, it like I always like have like a favorite page or two, and like
Uh-huh.
that's definitely my favorite 2 or 3 pages from this issue for sure.
And then the guitar pick was in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah,
I love the lettering right here.
I use the Tombow Futosanake brush pens. Those are phenomenal. In fact, I use it for my bold line work and for the bold hand lettering, which I only do hand lettering for the sound effects. The dialogue is digital.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else is traditional minus digital coloring in that font.
I think the lettering though, the font that you use is really good
Mm-hmm.
because it
Thank you.
still kind of evokes that like hand lettering feel.
Yeah, it has an italic quality, and I was a little worried about that, but I was talking to Eli, and Eli said, "Oh no, it looks fine. It's not garish."
No.
So yeah, and then the Grim Reaper, I wanted him to have a flaming mouth because I was trying to make a Grim Reaper that like didn't feel like your typical Grim Reaper. Like I wanted to put my stamp on that. And so in my version, he's not just an angel of death, he's also a messenger. So he appears to Dr. Fritz Lang, and it's established like, oh, Dr. Fritz Lang made a pact with him to have another like 20 years.
Mhm.
And there's even a joke that comes out of that where he's like, no, I'm just messing with you, but I still have news for you. And he kind of hints that Dr. Fritz Lang might be keeping something from Frankie,
Yeah, this is interesting too. This is where like, you're kind of like laying the groundwork because like it's been 12 years. They'll never find him. Who is they?
which we will actually get a first glimpse at this mysterious day in issue 2.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love the use of purple. Purple's like my favorite color, so
Yeah,
I
and it's
always
the
do.
complement of yellow. So
Yeah.
that's like if you want a simple way of stark contrast, like as long as you like I basically only have like a high school knowledge of color theory, which in comics that's actually all you need because if you just understand a few simple principles and how they interact next to each other or across from each other, you can come up with different effects.
I also want to call out this. I think that, him being kind of douchey throughout the earlier parts of here, and then you get this like tender moment with the
Yeah.
eye welling up. That's really fucking good, dude.
Well,
You
yeah,
fucking
because I mean that's what a parent is.
Hmm.
Not that they're mean or like they're trying to like be mean to their kid, but like there are times where like parents can be very, very harsh, very, very strict. But deep down they do, of course, care for their kid. And like Dr. Fritzlang is a single dad. So and he has kept Frankie in that castle for the majority of his life up to this point. And so the thought of losing him is devastating to Dr. Fritzlang. And I think like any parent, single or not, can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
But it's especially devastating if like, that's if like that's your only child and you've raised him or her by yourself for years.
You got these
And then the
dope
pinup
pinups.
gallery, Raymar Brunson, Art of Brunson on Instagram. He and I, so he was there for every step of the process for making Frankie Boy Monster. If he and I would were in a Discord together called the Comic Pack, which is pretty much gone now, and he and I are in the Ink and Drink Discord and Rocco's Discord called Comic Apocalypse.
Uh-huh.
Those are our main ones now, where we'll occasionally, chat up again. But like that whole summer, like he reached out to me through Instagram, said he liked my work. I saw his, I loved his work as well. We were both working on comics. I was going to do cover work for a thing he was working on, but both of our projects fell apart around the same time, within a week from each other. And then we got re-inspired and we realized we were both not doing what we actually wanted to do. We were making comics that I guess were maybe catering to trends, probably because he was doing. Well, I won't speak for him at all. I'll let him talk about it. But yeah, we realized we just weren't doing what we wanted to do,
Hmm.
and then we were finally honest with ourselves and made the comics we actually wanted to make. And then one morning, I woke up to him inking live on Instagram, and he was working on a pinup for Frankie Boy Monster, which was really cool. In
Yeah,
fact,
that's awesome.
this was my lock screen for a while until I made the issue 1 cover my lock screen. So
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And shout out to him, dude. I dig his stuff too, and he's part of the Cosmic Line crew now. I mean, it was,
yeah,
so I'm very excited to see
yeah,
what he's got coming out.
for
Love
sure.
this pinup by Jorge Pena, this homage, like this. It's so funny, dude. Just
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's a genius for that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all the pinups in here, but yeah, he was a genius for that. And I still occasionally have in touch with him. He lives in Colombia, I think. I might be
okay.
wrong. He wants to come to the States soon so that he can get more into the indie comics American scene,
Oh yeah.
And then Lila Gordon, she and I actually grew up in the same church, and she was happy enough to do a pinup for me, and she actually goes to school with me here at MTSU. I don't see her too much because she's a sophomore and she's busy with her own thing. And but yeah, no, it was really cool to get a really good friend and who is very as talented as she is to do a pinup for me.
Oh yeah.
And then Saraji,
Yeah. Another
yeah,
Cosmic Lion fucking
yeah,
guy, dude.
dude, like I'm getting like constant like inspiration from everyone who's a part of Cosmic Line and even outside of Cosmic Line. Like I can already feel like Saraji's thought process and the way he makes and writes comics kind of affecting how I think about it too.
It's a
Like
lot
he's
of
he's
indie talent
he's
out
really
there, dude.
phenomenal. He's really, yeah, no, and that's great. And I mean it's iron sharpening iron. Like
Hmm.
yeah, it's making me want to do my best work. And then the Frankie files. Eli likes to give a little bit more context to what we're doing. So
Yeah.
here's a little blurb piece from me, I guess, kind of Paul Pope style, in the sense of like it's a little bit of an essay to kind of give you an idea of like, why I made this, my personal struggle, which is genuine because I was gonna give up making comics, so this thing came out. So thanks to Eli for picking me up when I was kind of down on myself. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I love this Cosmic Lion piece you did also. Shit's
Yeah,
sick.
I got to gift that to him at Indie Comics Creator Con, and he loved it. It was really cool. That was the piece I made to announce my debut, and yeah, it was really good to finally give it to him. And I guess maybe he'll hang up in his office. We'll see. I don't know when.
I'll let you know when I go there. So I'm planning to go there next week. So
Awesome,
if it's there,
cool.
I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I
Um,
hope to go to LA to visit his office space soon.
you definitely need to for sure. Is this what you mean by you weren't working on
Yep,
something you
yep.
wanted to do?
Okay, so that's the original sophomore year design. Yeah, so he was going to be basically just another version of Hellboy, which oh my gosh, I am so glad that is not what happened. Because like I know I kind of like I guess over criticize myself for being a Mignola inspired cartoonist, but I do look at my work now and it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, he's definitely influenced the way I think about drawing and making comics, but the way I'm doing it isn't like I'm not a carbon clone. At least I don't think I'm a carbon cut
You're not. I
comic
can
clone.
see the influence. I think I told you that in person when we met. I see the influence there, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's like it doesn't look like you're copying anything or,
yeah,
trying to draw like him.
yeah.
It's you're your own artist, but you can see like, within it, I see Mignola, which
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
is
mean,
cool, dude.
yeah, and I mean, he was influenced by like Frank Frazetta and Bernie Wrightson, and you can see all those guys at different points in his thing. So it's just what artists do. You like certain artists, you copy quote unquote masters,
Hmm.
and you add your own voice and your own piece to the conversation. And then a little we had to round out the book, so we put a little ad for the other Cosmic Lion comics for the adults that want to read some of the other stuff, or teens or whoever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
and then a self-portrait piece in the back by me, again inspired by Paul Pope, because like in his stuff he would have self-portraits and kind of he embraced his own sense of authorship. Like he's an influence on me in how I want to be as a cartoonist, where I curate my stuff and really take advantage of like my authorship. So
Yeah.
every issue is going to have a piece like this where like even if you never meet me in person and you buy this comic, I'm still having some kind of conversation with the reader.
Has anybody ever told you you're an old soul?
I get that a lot. I get
Yeah,
it
you are,
convinced
dude. You're
sometimes.
definitely wise beyond your years. The way you articulate yourself, you really are, dude. It's crazy. I'm just so happy that you're part of the Cosmic Line crew, dude.
I am too.
I love your stuff. I love your work. I love getting to see all the commission work you do and get to see your like take on other characters, like the Flash that you did for me. I think you
Yeah,
did
that
the
was so much
mask.
fun.
Yeah. So you do. I just really dig your style. It's definitely like it's unique to you and it stands out. I think your design work, like with the cover, is amazing, the coloring, all that
Yeah,
good stuff. So, and for
yeah.
everybody listening, watching, if you have not picked this book up, head to Cosmic Line Productions. I will drop that link down below. Check out this Indie Creator
Get a t-shirt.
Spotlight. Get the T-shirt from T Public. Hit up Morgan on social media. Follow him. All those links will be down below as well. And yeah, dude, I can't wait for issue 2 so we can do this again.
Yeah, and feel free to flash the issue 2 cover and tease everyone that it's coming, because we're shooting for late May, early June. So
Hell yeah, sounds good, dude. Well, I can't wait for the next one.